Hi friends, it's Ashley. I am back on YouTube apparently. So if you are here because you used to subscribe to my channel, there are still quite a few of you left. I will probably talk about books at some point on this channel, but I don't anticipate coming back to BookTube per se. Really, this is going to be more about my hobbies, and reading is definitely one of those hobbies. However, I have picked up quite a few hobbies over the years. So I scrapbook, and I may film some scrapbooking videos, and my most recent obsession, it's not super new. I've been into fountain pens for about a year now. I think coming up right on a year. It was the beginning of last school year that I really started to get obsessed and start building my collection. So I'm filming a currently inked, mostly for Elise Morgan here on YouTube. She does currently inked videos, and she told me we can't be friends until I film mine. I know she's joking, but I really want to be friends with her. So here we are. I already filmed this once and it was super blurry. I was trying to get all artsy and put my fake plant in the shot, and it just kept focusing on the leaves instead of my writing. So let's see if this one turns out any better. Also, just a disclaimer, I am sick. I have a fever and my nose is really stuffy. I tested negative for COVID, but it feels like COVID. I don't know. I've been sick since Saturday, and I don't know. I just don't feel very good. So right now I'm sweating like crazy, and probably in 10 minutes, halfway through this video, I'll start shivering. But I apologize for my voice. It is sounding a little nasally today, and I may, sniffle a little bit and lose my voice at points. And I do have a drink over here, so I will try to take regular sips so that doesn't happen. All right, let's jump into it because I have 50 pens inked. I am ridiculous when I ink up my pens. This is probably the most I've ever had inked. I decided I wanted to go with a very specific color palette where I could mix and match all of my inks to create different color palettes. So I pulled up some pictures on Pinterest, and I was looking at things like oceans and sunsets and beach themed. It's still summer, right? August is the end of summer. And I don't know, that's just what inspired my collection. So this is my August 2024 currently inked. I was not planning on doing this today, but because I got so sick, here we are. I have been sleeping nonstop and I am finally awake. My nails are not painted, and I don't know, I'm still in my PJs. But let me check, see if this is focused. It looks like it is. Let me get it really focused here, because I don't want to film. This took me like an hour and 15 minutes the first time. I really don't want to film 3 of them. So I may pause and check it as we go. All right, let's get into my color palette. So the first, I'll try to go mostly in rainbow order. I have a few that I kind of classify as other colors that we'll get into. But the first color I have here is a just really basic cardinal red. And imagine the name, it is called Cardinal. So this is Diamine Cardinal. It was an Inkvent color. I believe it was from the green edition. Cardinal. You guys, it is really hard to talk and write all of this at the same time. I don't know how people do it. At least it's really good. So this is an Eco Tea in the colorway Rosso or Rosso Red. This is an extra fine nib, which I was going crazy when I ordered this because I hardly ever order extra fine nibs, but luckily it is pretty juicy. And let me again make sure we are focused. We are. So very exciting. I will tell you, I hold my pens really strange. And that's one thing to note with the Eco T. So the Eco T is triangular shaped, and it is to help you hold your pens with the correct right tri grip. I never have held my pens that way. In kindergarten, they really tried hard to make me hold my pens that way, and I just never did. But my handwriting has always been pretty good, so I think they finally just gave up on me. So I don't hold my pens with a tri grip. There are different models that come that way. TWSBI Ecos I don't notice it on those, so not as big of a deal. All right, the next color that I have is Diamine's Red Dragon. This is very similar to, and I'm sorry, the way that the camera focuses, I kind of have to write far away. I'm a close-up, lean over my paper writer. So this is Red Dragon. I don't think this was an Inkvent. And I don't know if it's a Cult Pens exclusive, but I got it from Cult Pens. And this is in a Jinhao X750. And I love this Jinhao. I would say it's my favorite Jinhao. I only have 4, and I have 3 Jinhao 82s, and then this one. This is in Black Night Sky. And it is black with some silver shimmers in it, and I think it's really pretty. It also has a medium nib, and it's a clip cap. So if you're in a hurry, right, the cap just clips right on. You don't have to screw it, which is really nice, especially if you need to access your pen in a hurry to take some notes. It's also cheap enough that if I were to ever lose this pen, I wouldn't cry a million tears. But I do like the sparkles. I also really like silver accents on my fountain pens. Even though I'm a gold jewelry wearer, I don't know. It's weird. I have some with gold, but I definitely prefer the silver. So that is my Jinhao X750. My only gripe about this pen is I feel like the cap doesn't post very well. You kind of have to really force it, and I'm a cap poster. So I don't know. And I do find too that my Jinhaos tend to dry out a little faster than other pens. Maybe my Pilot Kakunos are the only other ones. So this is a pen that I had to switch out. I originally filled it with Robert Oster Campfire Crackle. This is the ink, and it is gorgeous. It's a bright orange with orange and silver shimmers, and it is super shimmery, and it looks so cool in swatches, but I cannot get it to not clog a pen feed to save my life, even with white lightning and a lot of white lightning. So I cleared it out. I added Diamine Pumpkin Shimmer. This, I believe, is a Cult Pens exclusive, and also very shimmery, and added white lightning. And it's possible I added way too much white lightning to this one because it is writing very, very juicy now. Maybe a little bit too much, but it's at least writing, whereas my last orange shimmer ink was not. So this is Diamine Pumpkin Shimmer, and it's not feathering, so I didn't add so much white lightning that it's, you know, starting to feather, but I did add a little bit too much. I meant to only add a drop or two, and I pushed the plunger a little too hard, so I added, you know, too much white lightning. So it's very, 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 very wet. This is in my TWSBI Eco. This is one of my favorite colors of orange too, this heat pen. I'm obsessed with it. This is a medium nib. And again, I couldn't get Campfire Crackle to even work with white lightning and a medium nib. So better option. It's very similar, but not quite as bright. But still a really great option for summer. And then let me just double check one more time, make sure we are in focus. It just kept again, focusing on my leaves and going in and out of blurriness. All right, looks like we are. Okay, so the next two ink colors I have are pretty similar, but they're different enough that I decided I needed them both. And again, I was going for very specific August picture kind of color palettes. So this is Diamine Vintage Copper. I believe this is another Inkvent ink, maybe in the red edition, but don't quote me. I love Vintage Copper. It is a very good fall transition, like summer to fall transition color. It's a darker orange. It has some copper shimmer in it. This is in my TWSBI Eco. A lot of TWSBI Ecos. I pretty much have the whole collection. And this is the transparent orange. With a fine nib. And this is a very juicy fine nib. And you're going to see as I do these ink swatch lubrication tests. Sounds so great, right? Fountain pen vocab. The different shades of these inks. So this is the next one. Again, it's another orange-ish color. It's not quite as dark as Vintage Copper, and it has a different colored shimmer. So this one has more of a silver shimmer. This is J. Herbin, and I believe it's Cornaline d'Egypte. Don't come after me if I butcher my French. This is the TWSBI Eco Tea, so another trifold. But I don't notice it too much in the shade Saffron. This is an orangish yellow, and I have it in a medium, medium nib. I haven't done many currently inks. I've done a couple just for my own reference. So I don't totally know all of my nib sizes. I like a mixture of nib sizes. I prefer finer medium nibs. And then also some really juicy nibs. But I have pretty much every size, and I like every size for different reasons. So I'm not a picky nib person. All right, my next color, I was writing and looking at some of the pictures, and I realized I really didn't have a true yellow, and I wanted one. So I took a chance. This is an ink that never dries, typically. And I do have, this is a common planner from Sterling Ink. It is the academic planner. I got it just this school year because I'm a teacher, and so I wanted one that follows the school year, and I'm just kind of over happy planners, and that's what I've used in the past. So I figured I would try this, and I haven't written tons in here yet because the school year just started. But this is an ink that typically never dries. This is Noodler's yellow, and it is really a true yellow. I really like it. I think I just added some orange there from the saffron writing, but I'm enjoying this. I didn't fill it super full, and it's you can see I'm gonna probably write this one dry, but I don't use it very often. This is in the TWSBI Eco Transparent Yellow. This is my least favorite TWSBI, mostly because I feel like it just looks like pee if you're super dehydrated. This is a broad nib, which I think helps make this ink look as legible as it does. But this is also Tomoe River paper, and I am pleasantly surprised. This ink does not take forever and a day to dry on this paper, so I am enjoying it in this combination. And you know, it actually looks pretty legible, and sometimes it doesn't, depending on the nib size. All right, my next one is another Diamine. I believe it was also a Diamine ink vent, but I'm not 100% sure on that one. And I'm not loving this combo. Probably I just need to add some White Lightning, but it is dry, dry, dry. But I do like the color. So this is Diamine Brandy. It's like an orangish yellow. It's a darker yellow. Maybe even a yellow brown. I picked it because it reminded me of some of the sand in some of my inspo photos. This is in Vintage Mustard Yellow. And I also just don't love my Gen House. I like the colors. I like that you can Franken pen them, but the ones that I have, I only have 3 Janelle 82s. I just haven't totally loved, and it is that dry. So I don't know. Again, I am enjoying the color. I'm not ready to get rid of these quite yet. I've almost written that one dry, actually. Mostly because I'm like, I have to make sure that this one is gone before I go to clean out my pens. But yeah, I don't know. It's a good color for but not the best pairing. All right, this is a pairing I am loving. So we're going to get into some of the greens, and you'll quickly learn green. I mean, there aren't very many colors I dislike, so that's a problem. But I really love greens. I really love blues. I really love purples. I really love browns. So I have quite a few greens. I have a ton of blues this month just because, again, I was looking at pictures of the ocean and sunsets, and I wanted to match as many as I could without having 100 pens, because I easily could have probably also had 100 pens. Now, this is a pairing I am pleasantly surprised with. So this is Ferris Wheel Press Dancing Time. I find Ferris Wheel Press inks to be pretty dry, but this is so nice in this Kaweco Sport. And I think the pen match, like the color to the pen, is perfect. I don't necessarily focus on that too much, but I do try to match my pens when I can. So this is a Kaweco Skyline Sport. I believe the Skylines have silver accents over gold. I think that's the biggest difference, but somebody correct me if I'm wrong. This is in the color Smooth Sage. And it has a medium nib. And it is so nice. Oh, that looked like it was really dry, but it's not, I promise. Although it looks a little more dry than it feels. There with that pen swatch. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I'm sicky. All right, this is a combo that I have had inked up since I got this ink. And for whatever reason, this Jinhao, compared to the Vintage Mustard Yellow, is wonderful. So this is Birmingham Pen Co. And I think I have better luck with Birmingham Pen Company inks in any of my pens. I would like some more. But for whatever reason, I just think the Jinhao have very inconsistent nibs. So this is Summer Sweet by Birmingham Pen Company. It is a Jinhao 82 in Vintage Mint. Is that right? Hold on, let me consult my notes here. It is Vintage Mint Green. And again, it has a medium nib. And this pairing has been so consistent and wonderful for me, and I love this color green, that I'm nervous to unink it. But I really should and try it in another color. But I have a huge bottle of Summer Sweet, and I'm obsessed with the color. So for now, it's staying. All right, the next color was definitely chosen because Elise put it in one of her summer currently inked videos, and I was like, oh my gosh, I already have that ink, and I'm going to put it in a pen. So this is Monteverde Key Lime Pie. She's done some really cool ink mixes with this, and I'm nervous to mix my inks, but this is Key Lime Pie by Monteverde. I would really like the whole collection in full-size bottles. I have quite a few in samples, and I want them all. So this is the TWSBI Eco in the color lime green. Perfect match, if I do say so myself. And I have this in a fine nib, and I'm loving this color for summer. Super juicy ink, super legible, and also, right, like that fine nib. Then I wanted a more muted, kind of light grassy green color. So I have Robert Oster Australis Tea, and it ended up being so perfect for what I wanted it for. Again, I was going off of, you know, those pictures for inspiration to make my color palette, and it took me days. Ridiculous, I know. This is my TWSBI Eco Glow Green. Maybe I'll make a video, I don't know, we'll see. Oops. See, I can't talk and write at the same time. Glow Green. And it has a medium nib. And just different enough in color that I could justify having them both, even though you're probably over here like, what in the heck? Why do you have so many inks inked up? Yeah. So you can see like my color palette is very summery and also very fall-like. I feel like I really just focused on it's still summer, but I also am starting to transition into wanting to have some more of those darker kind of fall colors. I also love olive green, pretty much every shade of green, even poo brown, like poo green. Is that even a thing? I love it. So this is Monteverde Olivine, one of my favorite inks, and it is in my Kaweco Sport. This one has the gold accents, and it's the dark olive body. It is an extra fine nib, and I am obsessed with this extra fine nib. I don't know if it's because it's juicier or what, but I really, really like this. I almost always have this pen inked with an olive green. Not necessarily this olive green, I have a ton of them, but I love it. All right, this is another really cheap pen. It's a great starter pen. It's just one that popped up on my Amazon, and Elise actually got it too. I had already bought it when she got it. I always get so excited when I have the same pens as her and same inks, because if she's loving it, I usually will like it too. So this is Monteverde Crocodile. This is another collection I really want, the whole box, the jungle animals. And I can't tell you that this pen and ink combo is not, you guys, I just got ink on my Harry Styles concert tee that has seen better days, and I only wear it to bed, but I'm a little sad. Okay. So we have Monteverde Crocodile. When I originally cleaned this, I didn't do a good job of cleaning this pen. It was very blue, like a light blue. And I don't remember, I might have had kyanite in it from Birmingham Pen Company. This is the Flight of Time model in clear rose gold. And for a cheap pen, I love this pen. It's wonderful. I think I'm down to just Crocodile at this point from writing with it, but for a while it was not green at all. So I did not do a very good job cleaning that pen, but at this point I'm really liking that combination. Really great starter pen. I don't have any issues with the nib. I don't have any issues with ink drying out. The cap posts really well. It's, I believe, a Pilot, or not a Pilot, a Platinum dupe. And I really like it. It's beautiful. And I think it was under 20 bucks. Or just at 20 bucks. I don't remember. I've had it for a long time. All right. This is one of my favorite inks in one of my favorite TWSBIs. And I actually have two of these TWSBIs because one was labeled as TWSBI Eco Turquoise, which if you know anything, it's impossible to find, and I knew it was too good to be true, and I figured it was probably Persian green, so I got it in a different nib size, and I was right. It's Persian green, it's not turquoise. I've had 3 people back out of selling me their turquoise ecos, and so I really want the whole collection, but if I can't ever find it, I guess it's okay. So I have this pen in 2 nib sizes. So this is Persian green, and this one is the medium nib. I also have it in a fine nib, but I love this combo. Oh, it's one of my favorites. I'm gonna be so sad when I finally un-ink that and put in a different ink. I think I need to get a bottle of Crystal Marine. I only have that one in a sample. All right, this was my birthday pen last year. This is a Benu Euphoria in Vodka on the Rocks, and I am obsessed with this pen. It's probably my favorite pen of all of my pens. And I put Ferris Wheel Press Mirror Mirror of Moraine, and it is another pen I might not have cleaned very well because I think this is supposed to look more seafoam green instead of more turquoise, but you know, I like the color, obviously. This is one of my favorite colors, but I don't know. It might not be true to shade if I were to have totally cleaned this pen appropriately. But I love this pen. I got a medium nib. I also like it in a fine nib. My friend has a fine nib of the Euphoria, and then my other friend just ordered a Talisman in a fine nib, I believe, and I can't wait to try that one. But I think my birthday pen this year, which is in November, will be another Benu. They just have the coolest pens. But I also just ordered, I'm gonna have a new pen day this week. I ordered my very first ever custom commissioned pen from Zodiac Pen Co., and I'm stoked to get it. And so I might need to also get another Zodiac Pen Co. for my birthday pen. We'll see. There are so many of these that I want though. I'm obsessed, and I love Schmidt nibs. Oh, so wonderful. Just the best writing experience. Again, I think this is supposed to be a lighter, more green ink, but it is what it is, and I don't mind it. All right, I'm sorry, I need to take a drink. And I'm gonna sniffle, so if that noise bothers you, close your ears. Okay, you can unplug your ears. This is quickly becoming one of my favorite inks, and I am not a big blue ink person, even though blue is one of my favorite colors. I think the last time I had this many blue inked pens was in January, when I tend to do, you know, snow and water and kind of the blue themes. But again, I was going for some ocean things, so I needed a bunch of different blues for that color palette. So this is Colorverse Rainy Day. I believe it's the Everyday collection, something like that. I have the whole collection. I'm obsessed with it, and I love this blue. It's a very basic, lightish blue that writes very nicely. So this is my TWSBI Eco. This is a T, and it's just in the shade blue. And I believe I have a fine nib. Yep. And I'm loving this color, which I didn't think I would like it as much as I actually do. So it's so fun when you put inks in pens that just are really great matches, right? Like, I just am obsessed with it. All right, this is an ink that typically I don't find super legible, but it's doing really great in this Kaweco. I'm going to post it here. So this is Sailor Manyo Haha. And you're going to see when I go to do my ink test, it's so light and you can read it with this pen. So this is the Kaweco Skyline Sport. And again, this is a reason I like having different nib sizes in all my pens, because if it's not legible in one, it's probably legible in another. This is the color Mellow Blue. Has the silver accents. It's a medium nib. And Kawecos do tend to write a little more broadly than some of their, I don't know, Eastern counterparts. But I'm obsessed with that pairing, and I'm obsessed with this pairing. This is another Kaweco. And in this one, this is such a good color match. I put Monteverde's Iced Cookie, and again, I'm going for some ocean colors, so you can see here that these do a really great job of getting that variation in ocean colors. Iced Cookie. I would take a cookie right now. And this is my Kaweco. Although I'm kind of like in that stage of sickness where nothing tastes like it should. And I don't, like, I think I want it, and then I start eating it and I'm like, this is gross. So I probably don't want a cookie. But yeah, I'm very into this pairing as well. I have not been inking up my Kawecos as much recently, and I did this month, and I'm kind of obsessed. All right, this is a pen that I'm having trouble with, and it's my newest pen. But I think I've got it going. So this is inspired completely by Elise. I saw this ink and was like, I must order it. And then I had just gotten this pen, and immediately I put it in here. And maybe not the best pairing. There is a ton of white lighting in here at this point. But this is Van Diemen's Azure Kingfisher. And it is so shimmery. It is a feed clogger for sure. But oh my god, I'm obsessed with it. I don't even know if is it green and gold shimmer? Oh, I love it. But probably not the best pen to put it in. But this is the Leonardo Momento Zero. And you can see how much white lightning I put in. I tend to go overboard on white lightning. I know I don't need to, but I could not get this to write. And I'm just glad it's finally writing. So Leonardo Momento Zero in the colorway Aloha. This is a fine nib. You can see I put a lot of white lightning in here. And I'm obsessed. So good. And actually I'm excited that the white lightning worked, because it was not working. I was going drop by drop and then accidentally pushed too hard on the syringe that I was using to fill it, but it started to write, so I guess all is well. But it is very bold for a fine nib. But yeah, I don't know. We got it to work, so that's all that matters. All right, this next one is quickly becoming one of my favorite royal blues. This is Diamine Thunderbolt. It is another Inkvent. I think this is the red edition. Don't quote me though. I don't remember all the editions. Oh, by the way, did anyone see Colorverse is coming out with its own Inkvent, and I'm gonna need both. So I am gonna have to do some more DoorDash deliveries to be able to afford both of them. I feel like everything comes out this time of year that I want. So this is Dark Sapphire, the pen color, and it is an extra fine nib, and I love this extra fine nib. Again, typically I don't, but I have a lot of extra fine nibs that I like, so maybe I do need some more extra fine nibs. But this one has a really nice red sheening to it, and I really like it. All right, let me make sure I haven't moved this too much and we're still in the frame. Looks good. Okay. This next one is another one that I think I went a little crazy on the white lightning. It is another super, super shimmery ink. It is another Diamine Inkvent. So this is Sub-Zero. It's in the same Inkvent as Thunderbolt. Oh, not Mint, Diamine. This is Sub-Zero. See, I cannot talk and write at the same time. This is in my TWSBI Eco Cerulean. And then if you ever have looked at the cerulean on the internet, the color is so wrong. It does not look anything like any pictures that exist online of this pen, and I'm guessing it probably looks different on camera too. Like the blue Eco T and the cerulean look so similar, and they are so completely different. Like, this is one of my favorite colors of pens. It is so pretty. It looks so much more blue than it is. It's more of a teal color. Oh my gosh. It's beautiful. And I love it. I just got my pens out of order. Hold on. Yeah, I already used this one. Okay. I almost gave you the same color twice. But yeah, oh, I highly recommend the cerulean or seeing it in person because it looks so different online than it does in person. And it's a very good in-person change. All right, this ink looks almost black. Maybe it is. But I think it's more of like a dark navy. We'll see when I do the swatching. But this is Van Diemen's Pepperberry. And I wanted a very dark, kind of for the sunset, night sky pictures that I was using. And also for some deeper hues with the ocean. I don't do a lot of drawing. I mostly do writing with my fountain pens, but I don't know. I just, you know, that's the color scheme I was going for. So this is my Pilot Kakuno. Now I have 5 clears. They're all medium. And so the way I tell them apart is just the order that I have them in my case. So this is the first one in the case. So it's number 1. And I only have 4 inked up this month because I had to use the converter in another pen. So I need to order another converter. This is another really great starter pen. Very cheap, but I will say that the ink dries out very quickly. It's not a vacuum sealed cap, but it is another one that you don't have to twist off, which is nice. And also if I take these to work, I'm not too worried if they break or, you know, wander off with a child. Not that that's ever happened, but if it did, I would cry for some of these pens. Not the Kakuno. Those are so cheap. You can just buy as many as you want, really. All right, so this is another one that I don't know. I'm not thrilled with this pen. And I love this ink in other pens. It just seems so muted and dry in this pen compared to other pens I've had it in, including the Natami Flight of Time. I'm pretty sure this is what I had inked up before I did Crocodile up here. But I don't know. I like this ink. It's Kyanite. And I think somebody sent Elise a sample of this, and I was like, oh my gosh, I need these Birmingham Penco inks, and I now want the whole collection. It's a problem. I don't know if anybody else has that problem, but I do. So this is Vintage Sea Blue. I may take a break from my Gin House next month. I don't know. I don't know. Oh, see there? It started seeming pretty good. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Just not my favorite. All right, then we have a really light blue that is another one that is not super legible because it's so light, but in this pen, I think it works really well. And it's very similar in color to Sub-Zero, but it doesn't have all that shimmer. So this is Ferris Wheel Press, another one that I find dry, but not in my TWSBI. And again, I try to put it in some broader nibs, even though this is a fine nib. I think it writes more like a medium nib. So this is 3 Steamboats. And again, just that ocean kind of colorway that I was going for and the variation in the blues. I don't feel like I got too many that are similar or too similar. I think they all look different enough. So this is my TWSBI Eco T. And TWSBIs are one of my favorite pens, so I always have a bunch inked up. I have almost the whole collection. I'm just missing a few. And I'm so excited for the new one. Oh, that was very, very contaminated. Let's see, is there you go. Very light ink, but definitely legible in this pen. All right, here's another one that is very similar to these two, but a little more on the blue side versus the green side. This is just Robert Oster Tranquility. It doesn't have any shimmer, but it does have a nice red sheen that shows up nicely with this pen combo. And it is my Lamy Safari. And this is another one that has a tri-grip built in, and I do feel this one. I don't love that about these pens because I don't hold my pens like that. I hold them like this, so it does kind of get in the way of me writing. But these nibs are some of my favorite nibs, and so I just put up with it. But I don't typically choose these if I'm going to be writing for a really long time. I don't know. So this is a medium nib. I do want some other colors. Like I think, oh shoot, you can see it's super wet. Yeah, I don't know. I want more Lamy Safaris, even though they aren't necessarily my favorite pen to write with. All right, let's get into more of the purples and pinks and browns. I have a lot of them. So this one is one of my favorite inks. I almost always have it inked up. I don't know if I'm loving it in my Pilot Kakuno, but it's a Pilot ink, so I thought I would try it. I've already re-inked it twice, and it's totally fine, right? Like, Pilots are trusty with Pilot inks, but I just don't like that I have to fill it so much because I use it so often. So this is Ajisai, and I know this is another one that Elise loves, that I've loved since the beginning. So this is in my Pilot Kakuno. This is clear. And this is the second one in my case. So this is number 2. That way, if I go to write, I just know which pen to grab for the right color that I want. It is a little dry in the Pilot Kakuno, though, I will say. I find it drier than normal. All right, this is probably my favorite ever extra fine nib. It's very, very juicy. And again, it is in a Lamy Safari. So again, their nibs are just so consistent and wonderful. This is also from that Colorverse Everyday series. And this is Delicious Sleep. Gosh, I'm so excited for that ink pen. I'm curious to see what they come out with. Yeah, I don't know. I'm definitely getting both. I don't like that they're both black though this year. Like, that kind of stinks. Black is not something I think of for Christmas, although I know they're not just for Christmas. It's supposed to be like the whole year. And I know a lot of people really like writing with black inks. So we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, so this is the violet colorway, extra fine nib, and again, oh, so juicy, so consistent, and writes, I think, pretty true to an extra fine, maybe a fine. All right, I'm gonna take another drink before I lose my voice. Or start losing my voice. Okay, so this is a Van Diemen's ink that was recently discontinued, and I'm so upset because I love the Harvest series from Van Diemen's. There's only like 2 inks in that whole collection that I don't love. So I have samples of the entire collection and a couple of bottles that I panic bought, and I think you can still get most of these. I could not find a bottle of this one in the US. I could find it overseas, but I don't want to pay shipping. So I just got a couple of sample vials of this one. I have other colors that are somewhat similar. So we'll see. So this is Tasmanian Lavender. Again, it's part of the Harvest series from Van Diemen's. This is in my TWSBI Eco Glow Purple. I have never tested the glowing in the dark out. But apparently this one glows blue if you put it in the dark. Green glows green. I think this is an extra fine nib as well. Yes. So maybe I take it back. Maybe I do like extra fine because I really like writing with this. I just don't have a ton of extra fine nibs. All right, so once I started writing, I decided I needed to add a color to my lineup. And again, I took 2 out and added 1. So anyway, but I didn't have like a bright purple and I wanted one. So this is Private Reserve. I got a bunch of Private Reserve samples. They're not my favorite. And I got them for $1 and I think they're starting to go bad, but this one's okay. So this is Purple Mojo and it actually has a bright green sheen. I haven't noticed it in the writing, but again, I just filled this one up and this is in my TWSBI Eco Transparent Purple. I think this is a fine nib, but let me check. Yep. And it's perfect. It was exactly what I wanted. So very nice to have that added to the lineup now. All right, the next one is a more muted purple. I would say more of a fall purple, and this is a really fine, right? It's an Eastern nib. So it is Pilot Kakuno fine nib, which is more like an extra fine to me. I don't know. This is Wearing Goals 12th Night. And I do really like writing with this nib, especially if I need, I almost wrote nib. If I need to write small, it's great. I don't have really small handwriting though. I have very big bubbly handwriting, which I think is why I like the more medium nibs, but you know. So this is Pilot Kakuno, and I believe it's Soft Violet. Yep. I have a cheat sheet of all my pens over on the side, and I have a fine nib, and it's pretty dry. So Pilot nibs are not going to be your juiciest nibs. Now, this is one of my favorite nibs, and it is a stub nib, and it is very, very broad. I like to prime it a little bit before I write with it. Elise is talking about how she feels like her iris has a very stiff nib, and I would agree with that, but sorry. But I love bold cursive writing. So this is Ferris Wheel Press. It's really hard for me to write in a stub nib on this tiny line, but this is Aurora Alice. And this is my TWSBI Eco Diamond. But I would say this is most true to my actual handwriting. It's very loopy and bubbly and big. And I just got another stub nib because I love this one so much. And I would love to try other fancier kinds of nibs and cursive nibs because, I love it. But yeah, I would agree. It's a pretty stiff nib, and I'm sure it's probably the treatment, but like it's just such a cool nib, and probably Elise is the only one watching this, so she already knows what it looks like, but it's so cool looking. I would get another one of those, but it's a pricier pen. Now this is an ink that a lot of people consider more of a red. I think it's more of like a wine. I don't know. I'm not really filling these bubbles in very well. I would be doing terrible if this was a multiple choice fill in the bubble exam because I'm off. But this is Diamine Rider's Blood. And this is one I love. It's more of a wine color to me, so I include it closer to the purples usually. Honestly, it just depends what I have inked up. But this isn't my other Pilot Kakuno, another one. I still have more, I think. And this is clear number 3. And a medium nib. And again, you're going to see how more of a like wine color this is. So could either be like a dark red, kind of like the Red Dragon. But again, it's more purple leaning, so I just include it over there next to the purples. All right, this is my dream colored ink. I've been looking for it forever and finally got it as soon as Van Diemen's announced that the Harvest series was being discontinued. I grabbed all the other inks I didn't have and immediately ordered a full bottle. This is like the perfect Barbie pink. I am obsessed. I've been looking for a pink this color for a long time. And I'm so sad it's discontinued, but I picked up a huge bottle. Literally like the biggest bottle I could get of this ink. And I'm so excited that I have it. So run, don't walk to get this ink if you really like hot pinks, because it's perfect. So this is TWSBI Eco, and it is in pink with a fine nib. And I'm obsessed with this color. Exactly what I was looking for. So excited to finally have that, but also so sad that it's discontinued. Hopefully they just come out with another one that's very similar, and that's why they're discontinuing that series, but we'll see. All right, here's another Ferris Wheel Press ink that I'm pleasantly surprised with how juicy it is. So this is Pink Eraser. This is very light as well, but it shows up nice with this medium nib. And this is my TWSBI Eco transparent clear, or just clear, with a medium nib. And I have a lot of pinks too that are different shades of pink. I mean, I have a lot of every color that are different shades of their colors, but there were a lot of pinks that I was going for in my pictures. All right, this is one that is one of my favorite. It's a really muted light pink. It kind of reminds me of Opera Rose or Brunch Date, but a little more on the pink side. This is a Cult Pens exclusive, I believe, but I'm not sure. This is Summer Sunset. And again, I was looking at sunset pictures, and this fit so well with a lot of the pictures I really wanted. This is my TWSBI Eco Pastel Pink. And I believe it's a fine nib. It is. You can usually tell just by writing, but I want to make sure I'm right. All right, it was really hard for me to un-ink Brunch Date. I have full bottles of that whole series, I think I already mentioned. But I decided to try Teranishi Opera Rose, and it is a little bit different. But I do think that the ink in this pen got darker because it's been filled for a few weeks, and it looked lighter in my original swatch. But this is the Teranishi Guitar Opera Rose. I love this ink color, very, very similar to Brunch Date and Summer Sweet, or Summer Sunset, sorry. Summer Sweet is green. And this is the Hongdian. I was very much influenced by Elise to get this pen. Another one that is cheap and great for a starter pen, or you just want more pens in your collection because you feel like you don't have enough, even though you have plenty, like me, and you want more. I would get this pen, in every color. I think I will eventually, but for now I'm sticking with just this one. But again, like I said, I think the ink got a little bit darker. It's a snap cap, and I think it posts. Let's see. Yeah, it posts pretty nicely. All right, this is probably one of the best ink pairings I've ever done. So if you've ever used this ink, it is very, very shimmery and clogs every pen except for this one. So this is Venta Lacambini. I think I've never had a pen that didn't. It's got very, very gold shimmer, very saturated with gold shimmer, I would say. This is a Lamy Safari, and it's just pink. And again, I have some similar shades here. This is a broad nib, and oh my goodness, so juicy, so perfect, has not clogged the feed. All right, this is one of my favorite pens of all time. It is a Sailor Pro Gear Slim, and it is, I believe, a 14 karat gold nib, even though it's silver plated. It is. And it is a fine, but it's an Eastern fine, so it's extra fine to me. And I do think I would like a Sailor Pro Gear better than a Pro Gear Slim because of the way I grip my pens. It's just a little skinny, but I don't know. I love this pen. I don't love this ink pairing with it. This ink looks more orange than I thought it was going to. It looks a little less orange in the writing. But it's Peach Punch. I wanted like a really good peachy color, which I guess peaches are kind of orange, but it just, I don't know. I thought it would be a little more pink leaning. But this is the finest nib I own, and I do enjoy writing with it, but I am I don't know. I feel like you just have to be a little more careful with the inks you put in them. So this is a Sailor crossed with Yosaka Stationery exclusive of the Pro Gear Slim. And again, it's kind of hard for me to write with this fine of a nib. I kind of wish I had gotten a medium. It's the Refresh colorway, but and it's a fine nib. I'm glad I didn't get an extra fine because I did consider an extra fine. And I also considered a medium fine. I probably maybe should have gotten that one, but I love that pen, so I'm okay with it. And it is still a joy to write with. All right, this is another ink that I feel like looks different every time I write with it, and maybe it's because I don't like agitate the pen enough before I start writing. But this is another one that I was influenced by Elise. A lot of these I was influenced by Elise. This is Journalized Tinkerbell. It's a very gold ink. Very shimmery. Sometimes pink, sometimes green, sometimes blue. Blue could have been because I didn't clean the pen very well before it went in. Not this pen, but an older pen that I had. So this is my Pilot Kakuno. Clear number 4. Works like a champ with this ink, has not clogged. So I do like that. But again, I really don't know what color ink this is, but I like it and it works. So we're going to be transitioning into all of my browns. Just a heads up, I love brown inks, and I have a lot almost every month, always inked up, especially as we get into the fall. So these are a lot of, I was like, I need more browns for fall. And I knew I don't fill my pens every month. I might, if I start doing more of these videos and fill less at a time, maybe. I have a lot of pens that it doesn't matter. Like I don't have to worry about them drying out. So this is Ferrisville Press. This is Majestic Maple Syrup. I was a little worried that this one would be too light. And I also have a story about my Estie. But I really love this ink. I want a bottle of it so bad. And I feel like as it dries, it gets a little bit darker. So this is my Esterbrook Estie. When I first opened this pen, I was so mad that I spent so much money on it. It felt so cheap to me, and I was not excited to ink it up. And then I inked it up, and it's quickly become one of my favorite pens of all time. And I would not buy another one. So, wait till you ink up your pens before you decide if you love them or hate them. It's a fine nib. I really like this fine nib. And yeah, I don't know why. It just felt cheap to me. And I also struggle with putting the cap on. Like there's like a spring or something in there, I think, to vacuum seal it. But yeah, I'm obsessed with that pen. I want some more colors, but I'm broke, so not now. All right, this is another ink that I'm obsessed with. It is also from the Van Diemen's Harvest line. You should still be able to find it. I have this in a full bottle. It's just kind of like a cooler dark brown. It's nutmeg. Which makes me think of winter even, and I love winter. Fall is my favorite, and then winter. But yeah, this is my TWSBI Eco White. It's a medium nib. It writes beautifully. So nice and juicy. And I love, 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 love that pairing. All right, my next pen is one I would get a million more of. I did not think I was going to like the aluminum Kavekos. And it turns out I think I need one in every color. It's so nice and cool when you're writing with it, which in the summer is so nice. This is Birmingham Pen Company. And I have it in a fine nib, and I love it. Especially if I want to write small, right? Which I don't often do. I often take up 2 lines when I'm writing, but I don't know. I want more aluminum sports. So this is Distressed Leather by Birmingham Pen Company. I don't even know what other colors this comes in. But AL stands for aluminum. All right, this is labeled as matte black, but I do think they had a Kaweco matte black that actually had a black nib, and this one doesn't have a matte black nib, but that would have been really cool on this one. But I do like the silver with it, and this I think I already said this is a fine nib, but I don't know. Oh my god, I love it so much. And that ink really looks like Distressed Leather. I'm obsessed with it. Okay, I have another Kaweco. I actually have 2 more Kawecos. This one has a double broad nib, and I like having these inked in my collection because sometimes I like to do headers, but these are so juicy and so broad. They're Western broads that sometimes I'm like, oh gosh, too broad, which I like a broad nib. So they write more like the stub to me sometimes, but not, if that makes any sense. This is Diamine Walnut, another inkjet, I believe, and this is the Kaweco Skyline Sport in the color Macchiato. I do think it shows the shading really nicely of this ink. But I have a pink one and double broad as well, and I've considered getting smaller nib sizes for them just to have on hand in case I want to switch how broad my ink is showing up, but I have not done so yet. All right, this is a pairing that I have inked up since I got the pen. I feel like everybody got this pen this spring, and I love it. It's the Cafe Bronze TWSBI Eco, and I have it inked up with Robert Oster Cafe Crema, which I think is a perfect ink pairing. I think Elise actually has it inked up with Cafe Crema as well right now. I like the toffee. I think it's Diamine Toffee. Robert Oster Toffee. I don't know. She has another great brown ink that she's had in hers, and I really like it, but I don't have it. So I would like to get it and try it. I have it written down in my ink wish list. But again, I'm trying to be better. I don't need any more ink. It's an obsession, you guys. If you're watching this, either you already know or you may know soon. It's just bad. All right, so this is Cafe Bronze. It has bronze accents. So the nib is bronze and the clip is bronze and the ring. And it is a medium nib. Ugh, I just love my TWSBI mediums so much. And then I also got the cream rose gold. So again, you can see bronze and rose gold accents, and the new one has black, and I'm stoked. Oh, I don't even know. Was I in the frame? I have no idea. But yeah, so just the difference here with those. All right, this is another one of my favorite inks. It's another Ferris wheel press, and I feel like it does change color as it dries, as a lot of inks do. But this is Oyster Hour. I have a bottle, and I love it, and I probably will get another bottle someday because I just have a smaller bottle. At least I hope, because sometimes they discontinue their inks. And this is the TWSBI Eco Cream Rose Gold. With a fine nib. Again, I just try to get different size nibs. Especially in similar color ways if I'm going to be filling them with similar colored inks. I don't know. This is another one that is a sandier color, and I realized it could also go in under yellow as well as brown, but this is Sand Between Your Toes. I believe it's a Cult Pens exclusive. Came in the same collection as the Summer Sunset. And I needed a sandy yellow color, so I added it towards the end. This is in my TWSBI Eco Rose Gold. And it has a medium nib. I think if it was in anything finer, it would be hard to read. It's a very light color, but I love it. All right, we have 4 pens left. I'm so sorry. Next month I will try to control myself, but it's hard. It's very hard to not ink up a million different inks because I like every color so much. I just dribbled. Getting ink everywhere today. All right. Definitely a messy hobby, so if you don't like getting messy, might not be the hobby for you. This is an ink that I have a full bottle and I love. This is KWZ Cappuccino, and very nice basic brown, darker side and warmer. I have this in my Kaweco Skyline Sport White. And it has a medium nib. Sorry, I sniffled. I forgot to warn you. I'm sure I've been doing that this whole video, honestly. Like, ugh. I really hate having a cold. I can't remember if I said that in this video or my last video. I'm sure nobody likes having a cold, but ugh, the worst. Okay, this is my newest splurge pen, and it is very fine. And I'm obsessed. It is a 14 karat gold nib, except it's rose gold. And it is a very pricey pen. You can look up how expensive it is if you really want to. I have Sailor Kitsune Biore in here. I would like to get a full bottle of this ink. I am really enjoying this pairing. And this has the longest name ever. So this is the Platinum 3776. Again, I think the Natami Flight of Time is supposed to be a Platinum 3776 dupe, and it's pretty, if that's what it's supposed to be, it's pretty straight. It is clearly not my day. As I was filming the last 3 inks, my camera phone died. So anyway, I was saying that the Natami Flight of Time is a pretty spot-on dupe for the Platinum 3776. And this is my favorite pen. Oh my gosh, I love it so much. Basically, it's called the Century Platinum 3776 Century. It is the Shape of Heart collection, and basically, you can see there's a little heart cut out in the nib, and then they put it in, so sorry, I didn't have it posted. They put it in the cap, and I've seen it once. Kind of fun, but the fake diamonds, they should be real for the price of the pen. have hidden it for now. But I'm so obsessed with this pen, and I really like this ink pairing, but it is a very, very fine writing experience. But I want a bottle of the Kitsune Biori ink. All right, then this is my black ink for the month. It is in my TWSBI Eco Smoke Rose Gold with a medium nib. It's by Birmingham Pen Co. It is such a smooth writing experience. I'm obsessed with it. I filled it all the way to the top, and I plan on writing it dry before I replace it. But it's such a trusty ink pairing, and that's what I wrote the currently inked title with. Sorry I'm not live swatching, but I am not redoing the whole video for the last two. And then I always have a gray inked up. I actually had two to start with, but they were so similar. I had Diamine Gray Skies No More, which is also from that Cult Pens set. I think it was the Summer Sunset and the Sand Between Your Toes set. It came in that one, but it was so similar to Robert Oster Soft Kitty Warm Kitty that I decided to unink one of them so that I could fit my samples on 2 pages and not go on to the next page. So that is in my TWSBI Eco Cement Gray with a fine nib. And does anybody else miss Big Bang Theory as much as I do? I don't know. I'm not a big TV watcher in general, but I would like to rewatch that whole series. All right, I'm going to just show you some closer ups with some of the shimmer inks. I don't know. I think you can see some of these. I don't have a ton, right? Like these two are very shimmery. Well, these three. And then this blue down here, and Sub-Zero is another one that is super shimmery that you can see. I don't know that you can really see the red. I can see it in person, but it's really lovely to write with. Same with Tranquility. I feel like you could probably see that on camera. Sorry, I'm not used to doing like the close-ups. And then a couple of things over here that I noticed. Let me see. Now I don't remember what they were. I messed up a couple of times, I think, over here. Oh, really just like, this is not an Eco. I was so used to writing Eco. It's the Diamond. So we can actually, let's just cross that out here. So it is not an Eco. It is just the Diamond 580. And then I forgot the TWSBI Eco Rose Gold. It should say white rose gold. So it's a white cap with rose gold accents. But yeah, that is my currently inked for August. I hope you enjoyed it. A couple of ones on this side. Sorry, should show you the shimmer. So you have Aurealis, which has a lot of shimmer. It's like a pink shimmer on that purple ink, which I love. The Lacambini, which has the gold shimmer in it. And then I didn't do as many shimmer inks as I normally do, but Tinkerbell has some shimmer. Majestic Maple Syrup has some cool shimmer in it, which I didn't think it was a shimmer ink, but it looks kind of shimmery. And then that is pretty much it as far as shimmers go. Anyway, if you do currently inked videos, I would love to see your video, and I hope you enjoyed this. Again, I will have different types of videos on here, so if you hated it, please don't leave. But if you really hated it, do leave. All right, talk to you later.